Hey there, fellow film enthusiasts. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk. I'm your host, Josh Bell. Today, we're continuing our travels through the captivating realm of cult classics, and our spotlight today is shining brightly on one of the most iconic films in the genre, Blade Runner. Strap yourselves in for a cinematic journey like no other as we dive deep into the neon-soaked streets and thought-provoking themes of this groundbreaking sci-fi masterpiece. Now, Blade Runner isn't just a film, it is an experience, an immersive dive into a dystopian future where humanity grapples with the essence of existence and artificial intelligence blurs the lines between man and machine. From its visually stunning cinematography to its hauntingly beautiful soundtrack, every frame of Blade Runner oozes with style and substance. So whether you're a diehard fan or a newcomer to the world of replicants and Deckard, get ready to be mesmerized by the sheer brilliance of Blade Runner. All right, buckle up, folks, because we're about to embark on a journey through the neon-lit streets of Blade Runner. Picture this. It's the year 2019, but not the one we know. Instead, it's a bleak, rain-soaked Los Angeles, a city teeming with towering skyscrapers and populated by humans and replicants, bioengineered beings created to serve humanity. Enter Rick Deckard, our grizzled protagonist, played by the iconic Harrison Ford. Deckard is a Blade Runner, a retired cop tasked with hunting down rogue replicants and retiring them. Now, our story truly kicks off when a group of replicants led by Roy Batty, brilliantly portrayed here by Rutger Hauer, escape from an off-world colony and make their way back to Earth. As Deckard reluctantly takes on the case, he finds himself drawn into a web of intrigue and moral ambiguity. Along the way, he encounters Rachel, a replicant with implanted memories who challenges his perceptions of what it means to be human. As Deckard dives deeper into this assignment, he grapples with the questions of identity and existentialism, all set against the backdrop of a visually stunning and atmospheric future world crafted by director Ridley Scott. The film's narrative unfolds like a mesmerizing puzzle, with each scene revealing new layers of complexity and depth, from the thrilling rooftop chases to the haunting encounters with the replicants. Blade Runner keeps the viewers on the edge of their seats right through till the credits. Right here, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll start with our discussion on the soundtrack. Now let's look at this mesmerizing soundtrack of Blade Runner, a key element that elevates this film to a legendary status. Composed by the acclaimed Greek artist Vangelis, the score is a symphony of electronic and classical sounds that perfectly complement the futuristic noir aesthetic of the movie. From the very first notes, listeners are transported into the dystopian world of Los Angeles 2019, where neon-lit skyscrapers tower over rain-soaked streets. The brilliance of Vangelis' score lies in its ability to capture the essence of the film's themes and characters through music alone. Each track seems to embody a different aspect of this Blade Runner universe, from the hauntingly beautiful Rachel's song to the pulsating urgency of Blade Runner blues. Vangelis effortlessly blends electronic synthesizers with traditional orchestral elements, creating a soundscape that is both otherworldly but still deeply human. One of the most memorable pieces from the soundtrack is undoubtedly Tears in Rain, which accompanies Roy Batty's iconic monologue in the film's climax. As Batty reflects on the fleeting nature of existence, Vangelis' ethereal music heightens the emotional impact of the scene, imbuing it with a sense of profound melancholy and existential longing, looking for something more. Beyond its role in enhancing the narrative, the soundtrack of Blade Runner has also had a lasting impact on pop culture, inspiring countless musicians and filmmakers in the decades since its release. Its influence can be heard in everything from electronic music to contemporary film scores, helping to cement its status as a timeless classic. So Vangelis' score for Blade Runner is a work of art in its own right, seamlessly blending the music and visuals to create a more immersive experience in the cinema. Its haunting melodies and evocative themes linger in the mind, and they remind us of the power of great film music. Take a quick break right here, and we'll come back and take a deep look at some of the thematic elements within the film. So let's start peeling back some of these thematic layers of Blade Runner and see if we can unpack how they resonate with audiences on a personal and even societal level. One of the most compelling aspects to the film is its exploration of the human condition in a world dominated by artificiality and decay. The dichotomy between the organic and the synthetic is a recurring motif, symbolizing the struggle to find authenticity and meaning in an increasingly artificial world. Blade Runner also raises profound questions about the nature of morality and the consequences of unchecked power. The Tyrell Corporation's manipulation of life itself reflects a hubris reminiscent of Frankenstein's monster, with humanity playing the role of both creator and destroyer. This theme of moral ambiguity is embodied in characters like Deckard, whose role as a Blade Runner blurs the line between law enforcement and hired assassin. Another thematic thread worth exploring is the film's commentary on societal inequality and the dehumanizing effects of capitalism. The stark divide between the affluent elite living in towering skyscrapers and the impoverished masses dwelling in squalor on the streets below, it serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked greed and exploitation. In this dystopian version of the future, humanity has become modified, reduced to mere cogs in a machine of progress. Blade Runner also grapples with the notion of memory and its role in shaping our sense of self. The replicants' implanted memories blur the boundaries between reality and fiction, calling into question the reliability of our own perceptions. This theme of memory also reflects broader philosophical inquiries into the nature of consciousness and the subjective nature of truth. And last, Blade Runner explores a theme of redemption and the possibility of finding humanity in the most unlikely of places. Despite their artificial origins, the replicants demonstrate capacity for love, empathy, and self-awareness that challenges the notion of what it means to be human. Through their quest for freedom and autonomy, they ultimately transcend their program limitations and assert their humanity in the face of oppression. It makes Blade Runner this multi-layered film that continues to captivate audiences with thought-provoking themes and philosophical depth. It's an exploration of identity, morality, and the human condition, and it remains relevant today just as it was upon release back in the early 80s, making it a truly timeless classic of sci-fi cinema. So with that, let's take a quick break here. We'll jump back in and go into the cast and crew who brought this film to the screen. So let's shine a spotlight on the talented cast and crew that brought Blade Runner to life, shaping it into the enduring masterpiece that it is today. At the forefront of the film is Harrison Ford, who portrays Rick Deckard, a retired police officer turned Blade Runner, tasked with hunting down rogue replicants. Ford's portrayal of Deckard shows this amazing character depth as he navigates this moral ambiguity of his job and grapples with the question of identity and humanity. And opposite of Ford, we have Rutger Hauer in the role of Roy Batty, the charismatic and complex leader of the replicants. Hauer's performance is iconic. He imbues Batty with this fierce intelligence and a profound sense of existential longing. His improvised Tears in Rain monologue is not only a standout moment in the film, but a poignant meditation on morality or mortality and the nature of being. Supporting Ford and Hauer is a stellar ensemble cast, including Sean Young as Rachel, the replicant with whom Deckard forms a complicated relationship. Young brings a sense of vulnerability and longing to the role, adding layers of complexity to the character. Daryl Hannah shines as Priest, a deadly replicant with a childlike innocence, while Edward James Olmos delivers a memorable performance as Gav, a mysterious figure who speaks in these cryptic messages. And let's shift our focus to the creative minds behind the camera, starting off with Ridley Scott. Known for his visionary approach to filmmaking, Scott brings his signature style to Blade Runner, creating a visually stunning and thematically rich world that feels both futuristic and lived in. His meticulous attention to detail is evident in every frame, from the sprawling cityscapes to the intimate character moments. And backing Scott's vision is a cinematographer, Jordan Cronenworth, whose groundbreaking work behind the camera elevates this film to new heights. Cronenworth's use of light and shadow, combined with innovative camera techniques, helps to immerse us in this gritty, neon-soaked world of Los Angeles 2019. The film's production design, led by Lawrence G. Paul, further enhances that immersive experience with its intricate set designs and atmospheric lighting. And of course, we have to mention once again the beautiful score composed by electronic music pioneer Vangelis. His ethereal synthesizer compositions perfectly complement the film's noir-inspired visuals, adding an additional layer of atmosphere and emotion to the storytelling. The soundtrack has become synonymous with Blade Runner and is often cited as one of the greatest film scores of all time. In watching this, the cast and the crew have left an amazing mark on the world of cinema with their collective talents. Through their collaborative efforts, they've created a masterpiece that seems timeless and continues to resonate with audiences all around the globe. Their dedication to storytelling, their visual artistry, and musical innovation has really cemented Blade Runner as a true classic of cinema. With that, we'll take a quick break right here, and when we come back, we'll talk about that million-dollar question. Why would we consider this a cult film? So why is Blade Runner considered a cult classic? Well, the film, start off, it resonates with audiences across generations because at its core, the film presents a dystopian future that feels both eerily familiar but yet disturbingly alien. This fusion of the familiar and otherworldly is a hallmark of the film's allure, drawing viewers into that immersive world and prompting reflection on our own society's trajectory. One of the standout aspects of Blade Runner, as with many of the cult films we've talked about, is its exploration of existential themes, particularly the nature of identity and consciousness. The replicants, artificial beings designed to mimic human traits, serve as a poignant metaphor for the human condition, raising questions about what it truly means to be alive. The film's protagonist, Rick Deckard, grapples with his own sense of purpose and morality as he confronts the replicants, blurring the lines between hunter and hunted, man and machine. Blade Runner is also celebrated for his visionary filmmaking and groundbreaking visual effects, which have left a mark of their own on the sci-fi genre. Director Ridley Scott's meticulous attention to detail brings the neon-soaked streets of LA to life, creating a beautiful backdrop for the film's narrative. From these towering skyscrapers to the crowded streets teeming with life, every frame is infused with a sense of foreboding and wonder. Another factor that really contributes to Blade Runner's cult status is its influence on pop culture. The film's iconic imagery, memorable quotes, and the haunting soundtrack have permeated the collective consciousness, inspiring countless artists, filmmakers, and musicians. From cyberpunk literature to electronic music, Blade Runner's aesthetic and themes continue to reverberate throughout contemporary media, cementing its legacy as a cultural touchstone. Blade Runner is also celebrated for its diverse and multidimensional cast, led by, as we talked about, Harrison Ford, him bringing his world-weary intensity to the role, imbuing Rick Deckard with a sense of moral ambiguity that really does resonate with us. The supporting cast, specifically Rutger Hauer as the replicant leader Roy Batty, delivers an equally compelling performance. These performances elevate the film's emotional depth and complexity. So Blade Runner, much like many of the cult films we talked about, transcends its genre, offering a profound meditation on the human condition and the nature of reality. Its enduring appeal lies in the ability to provoke thought and evoke emotion, inviting viewers to ponder the mysteries of existence long after the film ends. And as we continue to talk about the rich world of cult cinema, Blade Runner will stand as a shining example of the artistry and the storytelling prowess. So, if you're just now getting to this for the first time or you're revisiting this classic, just be prepared to be transported to a world where the line between man and machine blurs and the future hangs in the balance. We'll take another quick break right here, and when we get back, we'll talk about a little bit of the trivia. So let's take a look at some of the trivia we found about Blade Runner and hopefully add some other layers of intrigue to this film. We'll start with, did you know that Blade Runner is based on a novel by Philip K. Dick called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? This source material provided the foundation for the film's dystopian world and existential themes, setting the stage for Ridley Scott's visionary adaptation. And I would absolutely recommend reading that book, even if you haven't seen the movie. It's a wonderful novel. It's short, it's only a couple hundred pages, but definitely worth taking a look at. Another interesting tidbit is the film's tumultuous production history. Blade Runner faced numerous challenges during filming, including budget constraints, creative differences, and logistical hurdles. Despite these obstacles, Ridley Scott persevered, pushing the boundaries of visual effects and storytelling to create a cinematic experience that continues to captivate us. And speaking of those visual effects, Blade Runner is renowned for its groundbreaking use of miniatures, matte paintings, and practical effects to bring its futuristic world to life. From the sprawling Los Angeles cityscape to the grimy streets of the underworld, every frame is meticulously crafted to immerse viewers in this dystopian vision. In fact, Blade Runner won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects in recognition of its innovative approach to filmmaking. And we can't forget that iconic soundtrack composed by the electronic music pioneer Vangelis. The ethereal synthesizer score perfectly complements the film's moody atmosphere, invoking a sense of melancholy and awe. But fun fact, Vangelis composed the score entirely on his own without consulting the film's visual, resulting in a serendipitous fusion of sound and image that has become synonymous with Blade Runner's aesthetic. I just think it's amazing. He didn't even consult the visuals, what was being put on screen, just the story. And then moving on to the cast, Blade Runner featuring that ensemble cast. But it was initially, Harrison Ford had reservations about starring in this movie. He was hesitant to take on another science fiction role so soon after Star Wars, but ultimately he was persuaded by Ridley Scott's vision for the project. Ford's portrayal of Rick Deckard really does add complexity to the character, and he blurs those lines between traditional hero and anti-hero. And another big thing about Blade Runner is its multiple versions and endings. Blade Runner has gone through several revisions over the years, with Ridley Scott releasing different cuts of the film that vary in length and content. Each version offers a slightly different interpretation of the story, leaving room for debate and speculation among fans. Whether you prefer the original theatrical cut or the director's cut, Blade Runner continues to spark discussion and intrigue with its narrative. So Blade Runner is a film that is rich in trivia, in themes, and visual splendor. From its origins as a cult novel to its enduring legacy in pop culture, Blade Runner remains a testament to the power of imagination and innovation in filmmaking. So next time you revisit this or you watch it for the first time, keep some of these little tidbits in mind and let them enhance your appreciation of this film. Right here, we'll take one more quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up and give you our rating. So as we bring this episode to a close, let's reflect on the journey we've embarked on with Blade Runner. It's truly remarkable how this film continues to captivate audiences decades after it was released. From its inception to its lasting legacy, Blade Runner has left a mark on cinema. As we discuss the plot, the rich themes, the weaving together of elements of identity, humanity, and morality against a backdrop of a dystopian future, the film's exploration of what it means to be human, particularly through that lens of artificial intelligence or replicants, challenges us to contemplate our own existence and the nature of empathy. And we can't overlook the incredible soundtrack by Vangelis, which is a perfect complement to the film's noir visuals, and it really enhances the overall atmosphere. And don't forget that stellar cast and crew who brought the film to life, from Ridley Scott to Harrison Ford, to Vangelis to Sean Young. Everybody's just so well in tune in every scene. And again, why was Blade Runner a cult film? Well, it's its combination of factors. It initially had a mixed reception at the box office, which is normal, followed by a gradual resurgence in popularity through word of mouth and home video release that really cemented it. But more than that, it's the film's enduring themes, the striking visuals, and the philosophical depth that have earned it a dedicated fan base and a lasting legacy in the history of cinema. With all that said, we give Blade Runner, specifically the final cut, the last one that Ridley Scott released, we give that a rating of 9 out of 10. It is a masterpiece of science fiction filmmaking. It continues to inspire and intrigue audiences today. And it has so many different readings of the meaning behind the film. So as we wrap up, remember that we always love from hearing from our listeners. Whether you have thoughts on today's episode, suggestions for future topics, or just want to say hi, you can always reach us at therealrealtalk@gmail.com. That's therealrealtalk@gmail.com. Or connect with us on Instagram or Threads at realrealtalk. And don't forget to join us next time as we continue our dive into cult classics with a review of Harold and Maude. Until then, keep watching, keep loving, and keep those reels rolling. Thanks, everyone.